The cabin door groaned open against the howling January wind of 1875. Jacob Harlan, a man who hadn't laid eyes on a woman in 10 long years, stared into the storm-swept night. 3 Shoshone women stood there, drenched and frozen, their black hair plastered to their faces, eyes wide with a mix of fear and defiance. Behind them, the Montana Territory sprawled like a frozen wasteland, miles from the nearest town of Helena. Inside his cramped 15 by 18-foot cabin, 1 room, 1 bed, and a pot-belly stove. Fighting the chill, Jacob gripped his rifle, heart pounding. What the hell was he supposed to do now? 3 days before, Jacob had been chopping firewood on his isolated ranch, 30 miles west of Helena, when the first flakes hit. At 45, he was a survivor, a Civil War vet who'd traded battlefield horrors for the quiet grind of frontier life. Folks in town called him the recluse of Bitterroot Valley, not meanly, but with pity. 10 years since Eliza died in childbirth, he'd worn her wedding band like a vow etched in stone. "Promise you'll never forget me," she'd whispered on her deathbed, and damn if he hadn't kept it, turning away every well-meaning widow or dance hall girl who tried to thaw his frozen heart. The cabin still echoed with her ghost, the quilt she'd sewn by the window, the tin cups from their wedding day, her faded daguerreotype on the mantel, smiling that warm smile that had once made him believe in forever. Nights, he'd trace the ring on his finger, remembering her laugh during summer rains, the way she'd nestle against him in the cold. But some memories cut too deep, like the feel of her skin or the sound she'd make in the dark. The territory tested men like him. Blackfoot raids, harsh winters, but Jacob stayed rooted, herding a few cattle, living on salt pork and coffee, talking only to the occasional circuit rider preacher. Reverend Ellis had said last month, "Solitude ain't fidelity, Jacob. Eliza wouldn't want you turning to stone." But what did he know? He'd never buried a wife and child in the same grave, never sworn an oath that bound him tighter than chains. Now, as the blizzard roared like a beast outside, Jacob knew his vow was about to face its reckoning. The knock came past midnight, faint against the gale. Jacob grabbed his Winchester. Raiders didn't knock, but desperation might. Through the ice pane, he saw shadows, 3 figures huddled like lost souls. 10 years of isolation teetered on that latch. He cracked the door, and they tumbled in, bringing the storm with them. They were stunning, even half frozen. The oldest, Aria, held her head high, her soaked deerskin dress hugging her form, lips blue but unyielding. Her sisters, Celine and young Nova, clung to her, shivering. "Please," Aria rasped in broken English, breath fogging the air. "We freeze. Die outside." Jacob knew the Tails Army rounding up Shoshone bands after the Bear River troubles, forcing them onto reservations in Idaho or Wyoming, splitting families like kindling. These women had run, defying soldiers and fate. Celine swayed, feverish, her delicate features etched with pain, eyes holding ancient wisdom. Nova, barely 21, scanned the room curiously, spotting Eliza's photo and Jacob's ring. "Your woman. Pretty," she murmured. His throat tightened. "She was." Arya nodded, understanding dawning. "You know sorrow." The room fell quiet, save for the fire's crackle and the wind's fury. 3 Shoshone women, hunted. 1 white rancher, haunted. "You can't stay forever," he growled, fetching blankets. "Patrols come through." But as he turned away while they shed wet clothes, he felt the pull something stirring in the ashes of his soul. By day 4, the storm had locked them in, drifts piling high. The cabin buzzed with life Jacob hadn't known since Eliza. Celine, mending from her chill, turned his meager stores into hearty stews, her healing touch evident in every herb she added. Nova, vibrant and inquisitive, peppered him with questions about white ways, her laughter echoing off the walls like music long silenced. But Arya unnerved him most. She watched him avoid their gazes, noted his trembling hands when Celine bandaged a splinter on his thumb, her fingers soft and warm. On the fourth night, as her sisters slept on his bed, Arya sat by the fire with him. "You strong man," she said, "but heart heavy like stone." The blanket slipped from her shoulder, firelight dancing on her skin. Jacob stared into the flames, fighting the heat rising in him. "Your grandmother wise?" he asked, dodging. "She says heart like mountain stream block it. It floods or dries." She edged closer, her scent of pine and earth intoxicating. "Your woman wants you empty? Alone forever?" The words struck like lightning. Jacob twisted his ring, glancing at Eliza's photo. Did she? Or was this prison self-made? Nova stirred from the bed. "In our people, a widower gets a new wife. Life is too hard alone." Celine chuckled softly. "You fight nature like a bear in a trap." Surrounded by their gentle teasing, Jacob felt the walls cracking. Outside, the blizzard screamed. Inside, desire simmered, taboo and thrilling. What if he gave in? The thought burned, stirring guilt and longing in equal measure. On day 9, gunfire cracked the dawn. Jacob leaped up, spotting army signals and the valley smoke plumes coordinating a hunt. "They're here," Arya whispered, rallying her sisters. In seconds, they were warriors again, eyes fierce. Jacob yanked open the floor hatch to his root cellar. "Hide! Don't make a sound." He erased traces, extra bowls hidden, women's scents masked with scorched beans. The riders thundered Upate troopers led by Captain Thorne, a grizzled veteran Jacob knew from town supply runs. "Harlan, coffee on?" Nasty weather for hermits. Thorne dismounted, eyes sharp as he entered, scanning every corner. "Seen any runaways?" 3 Shoshone women, dangerous types. Jacob poured coffee steadily, though his pulse raced. "Dangerous how?" Thorne's gaze lingered on the tidy blankets, Eliza's photo. "The kind that tempts good men into treason. Widower like you. Easy prey." Below, the women held breath, lives hanging on Jacob's lie. "Haven't seen a soul," Jacob said flatly. Thorne pressed. "Duty first, Harlan. You fought for the Union, know about loyalty." Tension coiled like a spring. Jacob met his stare. "I know loyalty, Captain. To what's right. Now, if you're done." Thorne flushed but backed off, mounting up. "Watch yourself. Harboring's a hanging offense." An hour later, Jacob lifted the hatch. 3 grateful faces emerged, and in that moment, he knew he'd crossed a line, chosen them over safety, law, everything. The air crackled with unspoken thanks, turning electric. That night, barriers shattered. "You risked all," Arya said, sitting close. Celine's hand brushed his arm, sending sparks. "Lonely man," Nova teased. "We see your eyes." Jacob confessed, voice raw. "I haven't. Not since her." Arya turned his face gently. "She's gone. We're here." He slipped off the ring, placing it by Eliza's photo-op betrayal, but release. What unfolded was revelation. Arya's strength guiding him through surrender. Celine's tenderness healing old scars. Nova's joy turning intimacy into pure light. In the fire's glow, Jacob wept, reborn, understanding love's vastness, room for past and present. No chains binding the heart. Dawn broke clear, storm spent. The sisters dressed for the trail, heading to kin in Canada. Celine left a woven necklace beside the photo, a symbol of intertwined lives. "Be happy," Nova urged. "Not tribe," Arya commanded, smiling. Jacob watched them vanish over the ridge, then stoked his fire, alive anew. 8 months on, a letter came from the north. Weddings, children, a boy named Jacob. He tucked it with Eliza's things, smiling. Some tales end in loss, this one in renewal, proving the soul's wilderness holds endless paths. What do you think? Should Jacob have turned them away to keep his vow, or was opening his door the right call? Share your stance in the comments below. I'd love to hear your views on loyalty, desire, and second chances.